listen to a pretty alright podcast about wrestling, do ya?
Well, the natural lad, Jeff Swag, has said time and time again that there's only one podcast that's the most decent and the most all-rightest in the industry today.
And that's... It's the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast.
What it do, fellas? Welcome to the weirdest fucking podcast you're about to hear. I don't know, it's probably not weird.
We tuned in to NXT for
Jesus.
once, and
immediately tuned out.
I want to bleach my fucking eyes, dude.
NXT is fucking garbage, man. It used to be something. I'm sorry. You know never meet your heroes. I don't ever want to meet Shawn Michaels. I'm so glad I didn't meet him in person because right now I have no respect for him at all.
That fucking commentary of Booker T and the other asshole was so dick.
It was, man.
It was absolute ass. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just had this. I took your advice
And just watch this stupid main event.
Joe Hendry versus All Ego Ethan Page, which was not a fucking banger. I mean, I would dare say I would watch 9 or 10.
Before we get into that, though, we have to do our due diligence here. And we have to tell all of the Game Rage marks, because if they don't already know where to go listen to all of the shit at. And that's go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. Follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official and go listen to the All Gas No Trash podcast. Additionally, go follow Frank at anime_syndicate_podcast. And go listen to the Anime Syndicate podcast on Instagram.
And you're 50% more likely to find hot locals in your area.
You know,
if you listen to Game Rage Magazine.
What's funny is they literally said that if you listen to Game Rage Magazine podcast, you listen to more than one of our shows a week, that you have a 40% higher chance of Rhea Ripley being your mommy. All right?
Wow. I also heard that it makes your dick 2 inches longer.
2 inches longer?
Every inch counts.
You know, that means we'd have 2.5-inch dicks. Wait a minute. If we're the ones making the show, how come our dicks don't get bigger?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Because we're benefiting everybody else.
We need to get science.
We're men of the people.
That's true. That's true. Selfless. Unlike these fucking assholes in NXT who are not, they are selfish as fuck. Joe Hendry jiggling all over my fucking screen.
Fuck, man. I did not enjoy him wrestling at all. This was my first experience of Joe Hendry. I ironically like Joe Hendry because of the memes.
Yeah, I like the memes too. I think his theme song is catchy as shit.
And the little thing he does when he turns around and...
I hate that now, but I think that's the stupidest shit ever.
He did it in the middle of the match, dude.
Yeah, man. What the fuck, dude? I will also say, I have not seen Joe Hendry actually ever wrestle prior to this match.
Me either.
Okay? I've seen him before. I've seen him do his things when he was in whatever the England fucking thing, and he was doing... One of the greatest entrances of all time was when he parodied In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
And he had that guy who basically stole the Stone Cold gimmick come out and do the drums and shit in a monkey suit, and that was fucking hilarious.
It was.
That, is the greatest entrance of all time. I will give Joe Hendry this. Joe Hendry can make songs. He can create entrance songs that are good, that are catchy. He can create entrance music and entrances that are entertaining. But that's where it ends. The wrestling is bad. The gimmick itself is bad. The promos are bad. I also hate the other guy, All Ego Ethan Page.
Shitty name. boring fucking match. I could barely get through them striking each other because I don't know what it is about fucking Joe Hendry that he does things limp-wristed.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It reminds me of fucking Rico. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, very,
But Rico did it as a meme, and like, because that was his fucking gimmick.
Yeah, but when he does his standing ovation and it's like a terrible version of a choke slam, and he's like, he just kind of like daintily like,
Yeah. I will also say this as well. I don't care who you are. If you are not like 6'7" or higher, you do not get to use a choke slam as a finishing maneuver.
And if you're not a supernatural being.
That's the only other exception, maybe, is if you're some sort of supernatural being, which Joe Hendry is neither. All right? That is the worst fucking thing I have ever seen. As soon as he did that, I was like, oh, I'm definitely done with this match.
Yeah.
I almost turned it off. I was like, that's his fucking finisher? A quote-unquote choke slam from a guy who's 6'2" and a half. Billed as 6'2", so likely he's like probably 6 feet square.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me that that's a choke slam? And he did it to a guy who's the same fucking height as him? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Additionally, he's fat. He's fucking fat. You see the pictures of him, and he does not look that bad.
It's all up here. Like, it's all up here. So you've gotten a skewed version of him.
Well, and it's likely photoshopped. I mean, and
but he's got pecs and everything, but he's doughy, like, on the love handle area. And then when the match started and they're like squaring up and you just see it from
it's just jiggly
miles away, dude. You could see it from fucking North Dakota. Like,
dude, Jigglypuff was in the house that night, just fucking prancing around, jiggling up all across my goddamn television screen. And I will say, All Ego Ethan Page is in a little bit better shape, but that fucker was jiggly too.
Yeah.
Why are there these? Okay, that was the question that I had, is why in the main event for the biggest championship in the thing, NXT, right? Why am I watching two jiggly fuckers smile at each other the whole goddamn match? Two dudes with, and that's another thing, you cannot book two guys with essentially the same fucking gimmick of smiling.
Yeah.
You cannot book them against each other. It is not a good idea. That was dumb as fuck. Smiling, and it turns out smile. Get the fuck out of here. When the referee, as you said, is the most shredded dude in the match.
Trick Williams, dude.
And you know what? I think that why the fuck did they take the strap off of Trick Williams? What the fuck is wrong with them?
I just thought it was funny that he, like, most of the match, he was trying to work his chains because he swayed them like one way, and he's like trying to figure out how. And yeah, man, I was very offended that the best guy in the ring, the best looking guy in the ring, wasn't even the fucking match.
Yeah, he was the
fucking ref.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I don't think Booker T, I just don't understand how he still has a job, dude. Because a lot of what he says is like, oh man, Joe Hendry's doing this. Oh man, you know, it's like,
oh man, the Jello's jiggling on Joe Hendry.
He's powering up for the standing ovation. Shit, I actually don't remember the whole entirety of the match. I know there was like an interference towards the end of it, where Trick Williams ended up getting hit.
Yeah.
A ref ended up having to come out, and then there was like a save. He makes the save for Joe Hendry to be able to continue in the match, and then fucking All Ego Ethan Page hits him with his finish or whatever, and then he ends up having to count the 3.
Wasn't it on the belt?
The belt?
It was on the belt, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
The belt was involved. Additionally, I did watch most of the pay-per-view. I watched some of the other matches.
Were they any better? Was that Sol Ruka chick in any of the matches? The skinny chick that does the diamond cutter, you know, she does a flip off the ropes, so she does a diamond cutter.
Oh, you know, I don't think she was. I don't know. I skipped a couple matches because I didn't want to see them. So I fucking,
man, come on.
I don't know. I don't think she was
Do you
there,
even
though.
know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen who you're talking about, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think she was there.
Okay.
Because I probably would
I
have.
think I will say the best thing that NXT has done is hire fucking gymnasts
Oh yeah,
because they've been doing cool shit and making new moves.
yeah,
And Sol Ruca is like one of them.
yeah. That is a good move. The one thing that was very standout-ish was the tag team match. That one was all right. Even though the guys, I had no fucking idea about who the fucking any of these guys were. Yeah, no, I was right. Sol Ruca was not on this fucking thing, which is quite honestly a shame. Because she would have fucking made this thing better. Both the women's matches, I watched pieces of them, terrible. Absolute garbage.
Who was in the tag? Was it the university guys?
It was, those university guys versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
I don't even know who the fuck either of those guys are.
Ended up there was this grudge match between that match was pretty all right, and then it was this guy named Wes Lee versus Zach Wentz. It was like I don't know, was that I'm looking at the wrong fucking thing? Why is this fucking being an asshole? Anyways, there was this dude that's from TNA, because obviously they're doing this shit with TNA now. The guy who's the X Division champion in TNA, which for those of you that don't fucking know what that is, the X Division's kind of like their cruiserweight, kind of like it's a high flyer, but it's not really weight, doesn't really matter. I don't know, it's fucking weird. But that guy was there, and he had like a grudge match against another dude, and that was a pretty good match too. This match card was structured how a pay-per-view should be structured. It opened up with the tag titles. We had a couple of mid-card titles go on throughout the thing. We had 1 or 2 grudge matches, and then we had the main event at the end, right? This was structured very much like a WWE pay-per-view of old. That's what I did like about it. That was pretty much it.
The talent.
There's this guy, I think his name's Tony D'Angelo or something like that.
The mafia guy, the mobster.
That is I'm sorry, man. That is the stupidest fucking thing.
Is it worse than Joe Hendry? Like, if you objectively had to look at Joe Hendry and what he is.
No, it's not worse than Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is the worst. This is bad just because, like, the Italian mafia gimmick, obviously, that's done and done, right? But okay,
FBI.
Right. I get it. That's basically what they are. They're FBI. But doing it, I get it. It's cyclical, right? You need to do another Italian mafia gimmick. But you don't need to have the guy come out there wearing a goddamn shoulder holster that's empty. That is the stupidest fucking thing that I've ever seen in my life.
Does he wear a fedora and everything?
Yep, wears a fedora, comes out.
Wife beater,
yep, everything. It's full-blooded Italians, but maybe he's a little more badass because he had a gun holster on, but the gun wasn't in there.
Does he have a pinstripe suit?
Yeah, the rest, a bunch of, oh yeah. It's the typical gimmick.
It's the works, that's all, yeah.
It's the full Italian gimmick. So that was stupid as hell. I was not amused by that, but Joe Hendry is, I will say this beyond any sort of confusion or any sort of, I don't want people to get confused. I think Joe Hendry is terrible. I think he's the worst. I think he's a terrible wrestler. I think he's a fucking terrible on the mic.
Yeah.
I think his fucking stupid accent is terrible.
He's Scottish. What does that have to do with anything?
Everything. Because you know who's the Scottish guy? Drew McIntyre. All right. We don't need another fucking Scottish guy that's going to half-ass it. All right. You either fucking go in and you be a wrestler or you fuck off. Okay. Honestly, when all idiocy Ethan Page fucking
all idiocy Ethan Page.
When he fucking pinned him, I said, good. Fuck off back to TNA, the land of nobodies and hot garbage, Joe Hendry. That's where you belong. And then I guess on the next episode of NXT, I saw a little clip where he goes, "Oi, I'm here to stay." Or that's Australian, but he's like, "I'm here to stay. I'm Joe Hendry. I'm going to be in NXT for a while now." And I'm like, good. Now I cannot watch NXT ever again.
Now I can stay away for the next.
For the next
millennia.
Yeah, for the next, until Joe Hendry dies.
Yeah. I think they could be doing something way cooler.
With Joe Hendry?
No, with NXT and TNA.
Yeah.
They should make, a fucking tournament for a brand new title.
Oh.
That is...
It's like a crossover title.
It's a crossover title. And you have a tournament between everybody in both brands. And whoever's champion would be kind of badass because it's like, if you beat everybody within both fucking brands, it kind of makes you look cool.
You're defending the title at TNA pay-per-views and at fucking NXT PLEs or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, there should be a crossover title, like to say
that would be the
I'm
first.
the best of both worlds.
I feel like that would be the first of its kind. I feel like
that'd be fucking sweet.
That would be fucking sweet. Because even dumbass Tony Khan over at AEW, he has the ability to do that because he owns Ring of Honor and AEW. So he could fucking make a crossover title since they're two separate things. But instead, he just has every title going on every fucking thing. And it's like, Jesus Christ, there's too many fucking title belts. But anyways.
Well, not so much Ring of Honor, but in New Japan, they do some kind of collaboration. It's a once a year match.
Yeah, the Forbidden Door?
Once a year match.
Oh, once a year match, huh?
You have like your men from each fucking brand from AEW. I don't know if it's going to be Dynamite and whatever New Japan does, but they work their way up until you have the two final guys that end up being the people that are going to be fighting for this fucking title. So it's going to go on for like who the hell knows? However long it needs to go on.
6 weeks, yeah.
Or not 6 weeks, but like, let's say 6 months. It's like a tournament that's an ongoing tournament, and it's to determine. It's like kind of like baseball.
Oh,
whether
yeah,
you like
yeah.
National League, the American League.
And then you have World Series at the end.
Yeah, the World Series at the end. And it'll be who's the grand champion or whatever. But for NXT and TNA, since they are more involved, if everybody's just kind of can end up on both shows, like you could have interferences from like TNA guys invading. Like, no, it's going to be our fucking guy. If we hate each other, but it's going to be our fucking guy that's going to be the TNA champion or whatever. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. That was kind of how it was back when SmackDown and Raw were their own, when they did the brand split.
Yeah.
And they would do like Survivor Series or like whatever. They'd be like, oh, we're Team SmackDown. Our guy's going to be the one. Our guy's going to be the one who wins.
Yeah.
Fucking, man. That would be cool. Also, good.
There's also the what has been allegedly rumored about Cody Rhodes being involved with a potential match. I don't think it's going to have a title involved, but it's like, what do you expect when you put somebody like that in a match with TNA other than to bury the other brand and for them to know their place?
Yeah, it's exactly what it's going to be. And what's even more insulting is they're sending Cody Rhodes over there to bury them.
It's like, oh, you kind of ran through everybody at SmackDown, so we're going to send you on a side quest and yeah, you can go.
Go bury a whole fucking promotion.
Go bury a roster.
Yeah, go bury a whole promotion in one night. Fucking Cody Gravedigger Rhodes. What a fucking piece of shit that guy is, man. Honestly, I think, like, I would hope it would be really cool if Joe Hendry and Cody Rhodes, like, happened to be on, you know, like an American Airlines 747 and that it just so happened to get potentially hijacked by the children of the guys who did 9/11 and they did 9/11 too. That would be fucking awesome. I would be so happy if that happened.
I don't know about that one.
What do you mean?
I don't know if that's funny or what.
Adam, it's been 20 fucking something years. We're taking it back, all right? 9/11's our day.
Yeah, the disdain for Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry and Cody Rhodes, yeah.
That's my point, Adam, is I hate these two fuckers so much that I would be cool with there being a 9/11 2.0 as long as they were killed.
Mr. President, Joe Hendry has hit the second tower.
Mr. Hendry, Joe Hendry's flabbiness has taken down the second tower. The fat has ignited and the building has collapsed.
I think the potential for, I also hate the fact, I don't like this, but I hate that WWE doesn't lead in anything.
Yeah.
Like creatively, they're just like, you know what? AEW is crossing over with New Japan. Guess what? WWE is going to team up with fucking TNA because I don't know. They did it. We can do it too.
Yeah, fuck you. We can do it.
Post-game coverage with interviews and such after a major PLE. AEW did that.
Oh,
guess what? We're going to fucking do it too.
And we're going to do it better.
And we're going to have, as far as I know, YouTube, they got that plaque that says they have like 100 million people I don't know what the number is, but they got like they're the only people within that club, the WWE YouTube channel, to have like 10 or 100 million people subscribe to them.
That's pretty interesting. I don't know what the plaque is either, but that's a lot of people.
But they're not fucking innovators. They're just they follow everybody else.
Yeah, and they just do it better than them.
They just do it better. So all effectively to say that just because you're first doesn't mean you're going to be the one at the top.
Absolutely. That's probably likely that if you are first, you will be last. Like that's no, because the other guys are going to go, oh, hey, thanks for the idea. We have the money to make this better, so let's do it. And they do. And then you look like an asshole.
So what do you think is next for what the WWE ends up stealing from, well, the only game in town? Well, I don't want to say the only game, but the only major game in town that you could say is AEW. So what's the next thing they fucking steal from another wrestling promotion? Like, you know what? We need to try that.
You know, well, you know what they're going to steal? Which they've already talked about is another women's mid-card title. That's what they're going to steal. I
thought they were already going to do that.
Yeah, but TNA's had that basically from like almost the beginning.
An IC title? Or a mid-card title?
It's a mid-card title for the women's because you have the women's champion and then you have like, I think it's the TBS champion is the women's like mid-card title.
Yeah.
Over there. So, you know, that's going to be for sure the next thing that they're going to steal. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, maybe they bring Sting out of retirement and make his actual last match there, and then they steal that from AEW too.
Oh man, you know what? Yeah, that could be something they could steal is like old guys not knowing when they should retire because I think Sting came back for something like
he came back at the Wembley Stadium or whatever after he was already been retired.
He's like, oh man, I'm addicted to the.
Yep.
Much like any wrestler, once they retire, they're like, man, I miss
the old days.
Miss the fucking crowds.
Yeah.
And he had his fucking lesson right next to him, fucking Ric Flair.
Yep.
Who retired for like the 9th billionth time. Yep. I don't know, man. That should be. I feel like you should know when you need to dip out as far as like your career goes. You do it once. That's fucking it.
You can retire and maybe come back one time, like as a swerve or something. But that's it. That's it. Well, next time you retire, it's for real. Like you can't just keep coming in and out.
I think you tarnish your legacy by doing it fucking 4, 5, 9 times.
And you know what the WWE, who they're going to do it with first? The Undertaker.
What do you mean?
They're going to bring back The Undertaker. They're going to have him do one more match. It's going to be horrible.
It's going to be a crown jewel. They're like, hey, Saudi Arabia is offering you $50 million for one appearance.
November 2nd.
What do you say? What do you say, Taker?
I mean, they kind of already did that when he came out at the fucking Cody Rhodes and fucking whatever match at WrestleMania. They kind of already brought him out of retirement a little bit. So, you know.
All right, I don't mean to shoehorn one more extra topic.
No, that's fine. Let's do it. Let's shoehorn it in here.
Because now that we're talking about guys that are past their prime.
Oh, here we go.
The Rock coming back to Netflix because, that was teased at the first Raw after WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing how he wrestled within the tag team match where he was drinking water and doing all this bullshit outside the ring and not doing a whole lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
How do you justify having a match between The Rock and Cody Rhodes if he's in fact still fucking champion?
I'm telling you right now.
Because there's no way he can carry that match.
They're going to do it, and it's going to be probably the worst wrestling match we've ever watched.
We're going to see The Rock blow out both quads.
I hope we see him blow out fucking both his quads, both his hammies, his fucking delts, fucking blow his whole goddamn body out. That's what he deserves if he does this fucking match with Cody Rhodes. Because The Rock needs to wrestle somebody that can carry him. Or he needs to be in some sort of a tag team match like he was at WrestleMania, so that way, oh, cool, I don't got to do... I do 25% of the work, and that's it. I'm good for that. He's good for 25%, but that's about it. I don't foresee this match, if it happens for real, being good because Cody Rhodes can't carry a match, as we've seen. He relies on the other guy to do all the fucking heavy lifting, and The Rock is too old now, and he's not in wrestling shape, man. He's in movie fucking superhero shape, right? That's a lot different than being in ring wrestling shape. If you look at The Rock when he was in his prime from maybe 99 to 2003, 4, his real prime years, he was a lot smaller than he is now.
And yeah, he was lean and shredded.
And that's why his fucking matches were great, because he could carry the match. He could wrestle. Can't really do that no more. So sorry, buddy, but it's not personal. It's just the nature of the choices you've made, and you're not going to get back down to that fucking Rock from 20 years ago. It's not going to happen. You're going to stay giant, bulked up, fucking big ass Rock. That's who you're going to be. But that comes at a price, and the price is the gas tank's now a lot smaller than it used to be, and you're going to potentially wrestle a guy who basically really has no business even wrestling at this point in Cody Rhodes. Ha! Good luck. That's going to be a shit show. I can't wait to watch that and shit on all that.
First Raw of the Netflix times, the Netflix era.
Yeah, I hope The Rock fucking blows out his quads and he just goes, you know what? Fuck you, Cody Rhodes. This wasn't worth it. You're a fucking idiot. And then he spits on him or something. I don't know.
My favorite part about this whole Netflix deal is that Netflix paid them the money. They're like, hey, we're going to make a documentary about Vince McMahon, and you're going to take it and like it.
Yeah, because we paid you. What are you going to do to us?
We're going to have our cake and eat it too. We're going to talk shit about Vince McMahon and have Raw on Netflix.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Can't do shit to us. What are you going to pull it off? Oh, okay, give us our money back then. Damn.
Kind of a Chad move to just bury their ex-boss. Like, I don't know. I think it's fucking funny.
I'd bury the current boss. Fuck it. I mean, if I'm Netflix, I'm going to make a Triple H documentary and show how he's some kind of fucking asshole too. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
I can't wait to watch that fucking... When does it come out?
The what? The 25th, I think?
Of September?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to end up being an episode.
No, don't say I think it's probably going to. It's going to be an episode.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. But anyways, all right, you got anything else to add?
No, I'm sure we'll be talking about that particular document, and you can join in and talk about it on Game Rage Magazine on Instagram or Game Rage Mag on Twitter/X.
Yeah.
You can go on GameRageMagazine.com or Game Rage Magazine at Game Rage Magazine on YouTube, where you can have all the sex for listening to all our podcasts, 50% more likely to have hot locals in your area.
Yep.
50% more likely to have your dick increase in size.
Yeah.
50% more likely to have all the fucking sex.
Yeah, and you're also 50% more likely to have one of your favorite WWE divas from the past show up to your house and give you a rusty trombone if you listen to Game Rage Magazine.
I don't know about that one.
What do you mean you don't know about that one? That's what the scientists told me. We fucking hired them to do this study, and this is what they said. I mean...
Inconclusive data.
No, Adam. The numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie. All right, get us out of here.
That was another wonderful, amazing, powerful episode of the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast. And take it from me, ladies and gentlemen, the natural lad, Jet Swag. If there's one podcast, one show you should be listening to, that you should be absolutely grateful for, it's the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast. And one of the things you can do to show your appreciation for all the hard work and dedication that these boys put out day in, day out, just for you people, it's that you can go and you can subscribe and you can like and follow them on the Instagram and the TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. You can also follow them and like them and subscribe to them on the old Twitter, which I don't know what it's called now, but who cares? It's at Game Rage Mag there. Additionally, if you feel the need to really show your appreciation, which you should, then go to their website at www.GameRageMagazine.com and show us some love. Show them some love. And show some love for the natural lad, Jet Swag.